I'm Jake Sanderson.
I'm Tim Stützle, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
Your Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are listening to the Postcast, presented by the Locked On Senators podcast, and of course, the Glebe Central Pub. You guys know the Glebe Central Pub is our pub in the heart of the nation's capital, in the heart of the Glebe. We love the Glebe Central Pub. Visit them at 779 Bank Street to get all your pub needs. Great food, great people, great prices. We love the Glebe Central Pub. I'm your host, Brandon Pillar, joined by Lalime's Martian. After another loss to the Buffalo Sabres, this time 5-2. Martian, thank goodness the Buffalo Sabres aren't making the playoffs, because if they were the Ottawa Senators' first round matchup, this team wouldn't stand a chance. What is it about the Buffalo Sabres that is just the Achilles heel, the kryptonite of the Ottawa Senators?
I don't know, Pilsy, but they outscored the Sens 17-5 this season. I do not love saying that. I do not love hearing about that, but that is a fact. I don't know what it is about this team that the Sens can't seem to be able to get a win against them. But, I mean, it might have something to do with that. They just kind of lulled them to sleep a little bit. They have their own way of playing. They have their own style of play, and it seems to be a horrible matchup for Ottawa. So, yeah, I'm glad that we're not going to end up facing them in the playoffs, because maybe that's how Leafs fans feel when they hear that they might be playing the Sens in the first round, because it's a lot of the same kind of action there.
Yeah, but I mean, at least the Ottawa Senators aren't the dead last team in the division and dead last in the conference. Yeah. Like, at least the Sens are a competitive team where if you get beat by them, you're like, man, they got us again. Whereas the Sabres, not once, not twice, not three times, but a fourth time for the season series sweep, have beaten the Ottawa Senators. And this time, Martian, at home at the CTC in front of our good friends, 16,000 and change Ottawa Senators fans. Like, that is just so demoralizing. If the Sens are able to win this game, sure. The other three games, especially the 5-1 and 4-0 losses, are still terrible. The 3-2-1, that's at least a bit of a closer game. But I think all would have been forgiven if the Ottawa Senators were able to squeak out a win in this one. But they lose again. And not only do they lose, Martian, they can't even find a way to get 1 point. And I hope people in the chat are just as frustrated as I am right now. I didn't think I was going to get this worked up, Martian, but I'm working myself up into a fit here, because I can't believe that we're sitting here talking about the Ottawa Senators losing to the Sabres again.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they were gonna win tonight. I was just like, Kachuk's out. Who cares? They're at home. It should be a decent crowd. It's been great this whole time. Coming down to the stretch here, a lot of home games. The fans are gonna be into it. And this one just turned out to be a letdown. I mean, like, they got dominated. It seemed like it was over pretty early, right? Like, as soon as the Sabres go up 2-0, you're kind of thinking to yourself, like, oh my God, here we go again. And it just wasn't entertaining to watch. Zetterlund's getting chances left and right. Ullmark doesn't look entirely ready. I mean, they had 3 power plays in the first period, didn't capitalize on a single one of them, Pills. And like, what do you want? What do you want to talk about first? Because this is just like, I get your frustration too, because I'm right there with you, because we got to sit through that thing. And then we're excited to do the postcast after every game. And you get to break down a stinker like this one. It's not perfect, buddy.
Well, let's talk about where this game was won and lost, in my opinion. You mentioned it. I think it's the first period, which is sad, especially, Martian, as the Ottawa Senators outshot the Buffalo Sabres 12-5 in the first period, and they leave that period down 2-0. Now, look, I know people probably don't want to hear it, but I don't think this game was on Ullmark as much as Sens fans probably think it is or feel it is, and that's fine. But that first goal, that's on Ullmark. Even I can't spin zone that one a different way, Martian. He makes the save, and Ullmark's had this issue. I guess issue is fair to say. Difficulty, problem with he'll make a pad save and he thinks he's got it and he just kind of freezes and the puck's right there. I got front row seats to the Winnipeg goal where literally I was on the glass and the puck was right at his pads and they banked it in like that. That was one of the easiest goals Alex Tuch is going to score in his career. My lookout player scoring for a 4th straight game, might I add. Travis Green, Daniel Alfredson, guys, maybe tune into the Locked On Senators podcast. But right when you see that goal happen, I don't know about you, but I was like, this game is over. It's going to go the same way as all the other Sabres games.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't ready to write them off quite yet at that point in the game yet there, Pilsy. But you've seen that from Ullmark more than a few times this season. And it's funny that you mentioned that Winnipeg game because I remember that. It was very similar to that where it's just kind of sitting right next to him and he's looking the wrong way. But I will actually kind of defer to our friend Mark Mathot there, who did a good job breaking down that goal in the intermission, I thought. And he's putting a little bit of the blame on the defenseman there, not having that net front coverage and kind of leaving it to Dylan Cousins to do that job. And to take his words out of his mouth is he said, you can't really trust a forward to box somebody out like that. And I kind of tend to agree because Dylan Cousins did not look comfortable in that position. And he was also facing the wrong way in that play. So I wouldn't say 100% Ullmark's fault on that one, but I mean, he's got to know where that puck is once it hits him like that. I know as a goalie, I've never played goalie, so I don't actually know this, but he's saved enough pucks that he should know that when it hits him a certain way, it's going to go a certain somewhere, and he should be able to, have a good idea of whereabouts that thing is. But for him to completely guess wrong was pretty funny because he was kind of like clenching to his right side, thinking that maybe had it like under his right armpit.
But it hit his left pad.
And then for some reason, no, it was his right pad the whole time.
Or right pad, and he looks left.
Yeah, and then he's clenching to the right too because he thinks it's on that right side, but then he looks left. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on there. He was completely confused about where the puck was. I don't know if it was just one of those classic like weird goalie things where they think it's behind them, but they actually got it, and he just kind of panicked a little bit because the fan reaction or whatever it may be. But yeah, he just kind of left that one sitting there for Tuch, and that's an easy one. I could have put that one in. I'm a righty. That would have been easy.
Yeah, all he had to do was poke it in, and that's what Alex Tuch did. And then the second goal, I don't know. This one I go 50-50 on. Like, the issue I have on the second goal, Martian, is Quinn out muscles Thomas Chabot for the puck behind the net. Like, as a defenseman, you can't let a young skill player out muscle you like that in that situation. Then he gets it back to Lalime and tees him up perfectly for a one-timer. Sure, the one-timer's from the point, but it's Rasmus Lalime. He's a pretty good defenseman, and if he gets all of that, goes top shelf. Like, you want Ullmark to have that, but am I going to say that's a terrible or a bad goal on Ullmark? I'm not really ready to say that. And it was kind of tough to see on the replay. Even Noodles was like, I'm not sure if that was deflected or not, but that's one where, I'm 50-50 on the blame there.
Yeah, I think it was both, right? There was a bit of a slow reaction, I think, again, from Ullmark. I don't know what it was with him tonight. Maybe just a little bit like not ready to go or not focused or not super sharp. Maybe just taking the Sabre shooters for a little bit of granted there or something like that. And then the other thing I would say is I do think it might have touched something, whether it was Drake Batherson there or not. But I agree with Noodles that I think that, and you guys are a goalie-friendly show. Noodles is a goalie hugger, as he calls himself. So I think there was a little bit of a deflection there, and you would know better than me that will throw off a goalie anytime. Yeah. So it's not the worst goal ever, but following the first goal, it seemed worse than it was because you're already starting to think like, oh, Ullmark looks like not perfect here tonight, and then he lets in another kind of soft-looking goal. Soft-looking, I won't call it actually soft, but soft-looking goal.
Yeah, and that's fair. And then I think, Martian, so you're down 2-0 at that point. The first goal you don't like, the second goal you don't love. But the Ottawa Senators have 3 power play opportunities in this period, like you mentioned, and they're not able to capitalize on any of them. And really, I guess there was the one Zetterlund chance. It was a nice play by Ridley Gregg, a drop pass to Zetterlund for a one-timer. But apart from that, the first power play, no shots on goal. And then I don't think they mustered any other opportunities on the other power play? Like, what was it about the Sens power play that to you just wasn't clicking tonight?
Well, they're missing the big net front presence in Brady Tkachuk. I think that's probably the first thing I will point to. Obviously, I'm sure you guys touched on it on today's show, is not having him sitting there in the net front, banging in rebounds, swirling around the way he does, causing havoc in front of the net, getting in front of the goaltender's eyes. All those things are things that benefit all the other players who are on the ice too. When they're moving the puck around, Brady Tkachuk is causing issues for everybody else's vision down low. So I think just missing him makes a huge, huge difference. I actually think that I would have liked to see them use just another big body, somebody who can emulate Brady Tkachuk as close as you can. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why not put Michael Amadio just in front of the net?
Okay.
Just say
he's
to him.
He's been hot lately.
Yeah, and he's been scoring goals, and I like his vision and he's capable, right? As a player, he's smart. So you just look at him and you go, hey, just play as close to Brady as you can in front of the net during this power play and see what happens. Because I think Amadio, as a big body in front of the net, could probably do a pretty decent job of trying to fill that exact kind of role. And then it doesn't really throw off the rest of the guys for what they have to do as their job on the power play, because, you just put big body Amadio in there and he can kind of do a lot of the same things Brady can, maybe not as effectively, obviously. I mean, he'd be a little bit more of an expensive player if that was the case. And he'd probably score more goals every year and maybe be on the power play regularly if that was the case. But I mean, Amadio is physically wise, he's as close to Brady Tkachuk as they have as forwards go. So maybe throw Tyler Clevin in there, buddy. Remember what they used to do with Zdeno Chara? They used to put Chara in front of the net in the power play just as a screen job. So I don't hate the idea of just getting the biggest guy you can down there, just to try to emulate what you have in Brady. And obviously he's not there.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're missing your leading goal scorer, goals are going to be hard to come by, and everybody knows the role that Brady Tkachuk plays, not just stats-wise, but as a leader on this team. But that's not a big enough excuse for me to drop a game 5-2 to the Buffalo Sabres. It certainly is something, and no Brady, it needs to be mentioned, but this is a team with playoff aspirations, and if you're missing one guy and you're not able to find a way to at least make it close, Martian, you got some issues here.
Well, you know what the really annoying thing for me was watching that is in the third period, they picked it up and they all of a sudden started playing really, really well. 10 minutes to go in the game was way too late to start showing that kind of urgency. But the way that they were playing in that last 10 minutes, it was 4-2 at the time. I was like, there's a good chance they could come back in this game if they just keep pushing them the way that they're going at that rate. But obviously just a little too late. They got that late power play. I don't know if I love the decision to pull the goalie right away on that power play. Pills, there's 3.5 minutes left in the game. You got a full power play there. Why not just ride out that power play, I think, and not give them. I know you want the 6. You want to score a goal, but you're already 0 for 3 on the power play in the game, or 0 for 4 in the power play in the game, if I'm not mistaken. And you get one more crack at it. Odds are you're gonna probably score on this power play just with a regular power play. But instead, the Sabres end up scoring a goal from their own end on the empty net because it's 6-on-4. I don't know if I agree 100%. Obviously I have hindsight on my side, and the Sabres scored the empty net goal there. So I mean, it's not the perfect take by any means, but even when they first did it, I was like, I don't know if I like that, because just do a regular power play and ride it out, and maybe in the last 1 minute or 30 seconds, if you can get a whistle in the power play, then pull the goalie, and then even when the power play then ends, then you still have a man advantage on the ice, and the empty net is active at that point. I just think that at that exact point down 2, I didn't really love that decision, but anyway, so that's just something I wanted to gripe about. So I'm just glad I got that out of the way.
No, that's fair. And I think it'd be different, Martian, if this team was dominant when they pull their goalie, right? If they had been clicking with that even 6-on-5, 6-on-4 advantage this season, okay, that's a different story. You want to get that out there. You want to get that going because it's successful for you. But apart from I mean, obviously there's more than this, but in my memory, the only times I can really think of emphatic moments or games where they've been successful there was that Boston game where they tie it up down 5-3 and then they tie it up and win the shootout. Like, for me, it seems like they don't have success when they pull the goalie, and they're not able to score empty net goals either. Like, I don't know what it is about this team, but it's not their thing.
They like 2-goal games instead of these close 1-goal games and situations where teams had to pull their goalie. I don't understand. Yeah, it would be funny to see the difference there, Pills. Like empty net goals for versus against. I bet you Ottawa's on the very wrong side of that one this year.
Yeah, oops.
Oops.
But
Oopsie.
If you want to be on the right side of having a good night on the town, easy decision.
Segue.
Martian, the stats are easy. LOSP stats department. Good time, 100% success rate. The Glebe Central Pub. You guys know that the Glebe Central Pub is the official sponsor of the Locked On Senators podcast Postcast. We could not do the Postcast without our good friends over at the Glebe Central Pub at 779 Bank Street. Go check out their website to see when they've got the Send Shuttle. I believe they have the Send Shuttle for all the remaining home games at the CTC and the regular season. If you guys are new and don't know what the Send Shuttle is, it's a bus that takes you from the Glebe Central Pub to the CTC, from the CTC back to the Glebe Central Pub for $17. People are saying $17 one way. No, get out of here. $17 round trip. You can't beat that. An Uber's going to be way more expensive, way more slow. You're going to be packed in a car that you don't know. Why not go on the bus with Sens fans? And Sue, the bus driver, is an absolute legend. So go check out the Glebe Central Pub, 779 Bank Street. Great drinks, great food, great people. We love the GCP. And Martian, in this economy, you want to get a good deal on things. Could you remind the people what the deal is on vibes at the GCP? I've heard it's a great deal.
Yeah, I just heard about this. The vibes are free at the GCP, so it's a good deal. It's as good as it gets.
Vibes are free at the GCP, guys. You're not going to beat that. The vibes are free at the GCP. Go check them out. The Glebe Central Pub. This episode is also brought to you by our friends over at Monarch Money. Guys, have you ever been looking at your bank account and you're wondering, where did all my money go? Well, between dining out, online shopping, entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. Your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, guys. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So stop just managing your money and start building your wealth. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track your spending, and even plan long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set your goals, and stay on the same page without all that stress. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off your first year. All right, guys, here we are on the Postcast, the Locked On Senators podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Pillar, joined by Lalime Martian after inexplicably being swept in a season series versus the Buffalo Sabres, this time a 5-2 loss. Martian, does this type of loss against this type of opponent, does this put a major damper on the way you view this team heading into a postseason push? Or is this one of those games where you're like, you know what? I don't know what it is. Sabres have our number. Let's move on.
Yeah, I think it's more the latter. It's more the latter for me. I definitely don't think it would be a major damper for me here, Pilsy. It's still a good team. We're still in a playoff position. We're still, what is it now? It's 5 points up on the next closest team behind us here. 9 games to go. There's 8 games to go now. So there's not a lot of time for other teams to catch us. As long as they don't go on an absolutely epic losing streak, I'm not worried. So for now, I'm fine. But yeah, going 0-3 against the Canadiens and 0-4 against the Sabres, a lot of fans are going to point to that as being like, wow, we could be a little bit higher in the standings if we just get 1 or 2 wins off these teams. But that's part of the learning experience for this team. They're gonna get in here. I still think this year, no problem. And then next year you can work to improve on those better. record against those lesser teams. I think that's probably where I'll go with that.
Yeah, it doesn't put a damper on it for me. I still feel good about this team. Let's remember, we still have all but one game left at home, just one road game to Columbus. You're playing up against teams that you want to have kind of measuring stick games up against, especially for the next 6 games here, Martian. You got Tampa, Florida, Columbus on the road, and then Montreal. So like, these are games they're going to get up for. I'm not saying they don't get up for the Sabres game, but just whatever's going on with them in Buffalo, we got to move past that. So I still feel pretty good about the Ottawa Senators and their ability to make the playoffs here. But this would have been nice just to take care of business, get 2 points, and feel good about yourselves.
Yeah, and if there's a couple of guys that I think that really could have, I really wish would have just stepped up here a little bit tonight. I'd be looking at 2 different guys here for me. Just number one would be Shane Pinto, who hasn't scored now in 9 games without a goal. Like, just get me one there, Shane, and like this could be a different story here. And then
you got close. That backhand deep that he had was right there.
He had a couple of good chances tonight, and I'm sure he's a little frustrated with that little goal drought he's got going. But I would like to see him, pot one. That'd be perfect. And then, Drake Batherson was a -5 tonight, Pilsy.
Oh.
He was out there for all of them. Yeah, -5 for Drake Batherson. And he's a veteran on this team. He's a skill guy in this team. You can't be going out there and being -5 there, Drakey. That is a tough stat line. And Dylan Cousins, obviously they're on the same line, -4 as well. He had a terrible night tonight.
Probably his worst as a Senator, eh?
For sure, his worst game as a Senator, I think, and then that turnover that he had. I think maybe we'll give Drake a little bit of a break for that dash there because he probably didn't think that Dylan Cousins was going to pass it to one of his former teammates for a breakaway. Peyton Krebs just walks in and buries it. But man, yeah, it would be nice to see one of those guys just have a bit of a better night. Like, you would think that Bath would be up for this one, knowing that, the team's relying on him heavily as one of the top forwards on the team to do something out there. And I know he's been a lot better of late, but holy moly, -5, that's a tough one. I'm sure he's not too happy right now tonight. He's a happy-go-lucky guy usually, and this is going to be a tough one for him to swallow. -5, Bills.
Yeah, I didn't believe it when you told me, Martian. I had to go check. We've heard Drake Batherson is a great golfer, but -5, that's not what you want to see on your name, on your scorecard in a hockey game. Let's get to some of the positives, though, if we can, Martian. I will graciously pass it to you for your sensational standout of the night.
Yeah, and I actually haven't thought too hard about this, but the first guy that I kind of jumped out to me was actually, it's just kind of an unsung guy. It was Artem Zub. I just thought he was solid tonight for the most part. He actually ended up being one of the few guys who was a plus on the score sheet here tonight. So and he also had assists. So I think Artem Zub was just kind of solid out there. He was just doing his job, regular, and playing with Sanderson makes his job a lot easier. But I just think that we don't really get a lot of opportunity to shout Zub out. So I'm going to go with Zub here tonight. 17-15 on ice for him. Couple shots on goal, 1 takeaway, no giveaways. So I'm going to go with Zub here. Just a solid defenseman's game. And that's all he did out there tonight.
Yeah, fair. All right. I'm going to go with number 20, Zetterlund. I thought he had a really good game. He had some good chances. I'm loving the chemistry between him and Tim Stützle. 3 shots on goal. All of them, I believe, were good scoring chances. It is insane that this guy has not found a way to put the puck in the back of the net. I mean, it's even kind of crazy, Martian, that he only has 1 assist in his time with the Sens. I think they said on the broadcast that Zetterlund has 26 shots with the Sens now and no goals. Like, that's just crazy. And like, you can't even say he's on the 4th line. He's on the top line with Tim Stützle. He's on the top power play. He's getting grade A opportunities in his wheelhouse in the slot. It's just crazy that this guy can't bury it. I don't know how many games in a row we can say, all right, next game he's due. He's got it next game. But I did like his game tonight in a 5-2 loss. That's a guy I will give some credit to.
Yeah, and I think you can say a lot of good things about just his game, about getting in the right position all the time, and he seems to have great hockey sense, being able to get there, and he makes good plays with the puck as well. It's not just him finding soft areas all the time and getting fed the puck. He is making plays out there as well,
Yep.
but he's starting to lose the benefit of the doubt, I think, for me a little bit. Like, I mean, this guy came in touted as a goal scorer, right? What did he have? 17 or 19 goals already on the season.
17 on season, yeah.
Yeah, so 17 with San Jose. So you would think coming in and playing with some higher quality players like Tim Stützle, that would just only increase coming in, but it's not. And I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know why he's not able to bury the puck, but if he doesn't start doing it soon, I'm going to get on his case, because you need guys. It reminds me of Alex DeBrincat, right? Like, not in this, it's not exactly the same, obviously, but it's similar, because you get this guy who comes in, he gets all these high quality chances, but he's not scoring goals with all of his chances he's getting. Percentage wise for his chances, like, I mean, he should be putting in a lot more of those pucks. Yeah. So I would like to see him start doing it on a more consistent basis here, or on any basis. If you like, Philzy, like, this guy hasn't scored a goal yet, and the fans are talking about him like he's the best player on the team. So we can't just keep kissing this guy and thinking that he's the best player out there, because if he's not going to produce, then really he's no better than Gaudette, who also doesn't produce, and when he was up with Tim Stützle, he was scoring too. So I'm calling him out. I want to see him get going here. I want to see him start burying pucks, because you can't be getting those chances over and over and over again, game after game, and then still expect the coach to keep you on the top line. Buddy, you got to score. So let's go, Zetterlund. It's a good standout, Pilsy. I agree with you. I think he had a good game for considering. But if he would have scored, it would have been a slam dunk. But I still want to see it a little bit more out of Zetterlund as far as putting the puck in the back of the net goes.
No, that's fair. And Martian, sometimes when you're not scoring goals, you're just not getting the right nutrition in you. You're just not getting the right food in you. Maybe Fabian Zetterlund can get some pistachios in him, and not just any pistachios. How about wonderful pistachios? You guys know I'm pistachio Pilsy. Are you looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? We'll crack into a good source of protein with wonderful pistachios. Wonderful pistachios are one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce servings has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. I love the salt and pepper flavor. Look for it in the light purple bag. But if you don't want to deal with cracking the shells, get the no shells variety. Great grab and go snack for busy days, at your desk, at work, heading to school, on a road trip. You need that quick protein boost. Wonderful Pistachios has got you. But I love the shells. I love watching a movie, cracking away, and working my way through that bag. So get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. All right, here we are on the postcast. Brandon Pillar, Lalime's Martian. After a 5-2 loss, the Sabres sweep the series up against the Ottawa Senators. And Martian, I actually have our producer Ross, his reaction to getting swept by the Sabres. Here it is. There it is. That's actually a random screenshot I took months ago and was waiting for a time to use it. So that's probably what Ross Levitan was looking like after this game happened, Martian. I do want to get to one point here. A lot of comments are talking about Linus Ullmark here. I know David saying Pilsy said he has an issue. Elite goalie has an issue. Does he still qualify as elite? Look, I'm an Ullmark stand. I specifically said he has an issue sometimes tracking the puck when there's a rebound and he doesn't know where it is and he freezes and teams are able to take advantage of that. I did say that. I do not think Linus Ullmark has a overlaying issue. I do think that he is an elite goalie. He's won a Vezina trophy. I have the utmost confidence in Linus Ullmark. Now, however, I could hear it if people are frustrated with some of his starts. Linus Ullmark hasn't had great starts. And again, I just want to say the last 2 goals, we talked about it, that Peyton Krebs one, Dylan Cousins giveaway, walks right down and roofs it on him. No chance there. And then the give and go from Peterka and Tage Thompson, the other goal. I mean, Oh yeah, well, that's all we're going to do there either. So that's where I'm saying that. Look, I don't think this game you can point to Ullmark and say it's on him. Now, do you want to have a better performance than allowing 4 goals on 22 shots? Yeah, or 21 shots. Yeah, fair. An 810 save percentage, not good. But Martian, where is your confidence when it comes to Linus Ullmark being a number 1 goalie for this team and being the guy that leads them not only to the playoffs, but in the playoffs?
This is the easiest question in the world, Pilsy. And
Okay.
I know he has the odd bad game, but he is one of, if not the main reason the Sens are in the position that they're in right now. He has brought them here. And I don't know what you guys were feeling a few nights ago when he was standing on his head and he was playing incredibly. But I'm sure it wasn't the same as what some folks are saying here tonight. He has stolen games. He's gone on huge winning streaks. He's battled injury. He's been the number 1 goalie that we've always wanted. And I don't think no Senators fan has a leg to stand on if they're in the kitchen or in the crease, for the sake of this conversation, of Linus Ullmark, because this guy has been as advertised. He's a great goaltender, and he could come into the playoffs and just go lights out. He could go unconscious in the net, and he could steal us a series. He could steal us a couple games. You never know what's going to happen with this guy. Sure, he might lay the odd egg, but I think when push comes to shove and when the big game comes down to it, and when it's an important playoff game, he's going to be there for us. So, am I worried at all? No, not at all. And if you are, as a Sens fan, I ask you to just reevaluate that opinion, because that's a bad opinion.
Yeah, I get nice save there. I get that some fans are frustrated with how some of his starts have gone. Like his first periods, there have been times where he's leaky and he's got the Sens playing on their heels and it doesn't look great. There's been some bad goals. It happens. But overall, I'm confident in Ullmark. I love that the Senators are a team that has a clear number 1. I would hate to be in a position like the Leafs where they're looking at, do we play Woll or Stolars? Who do we start? When do we switch them? The Capitals even kind of have that with Thompson and Lindgren. Like, I would hate to be uncertain about who your guy is. And Linus Ullmark is the guy. Now, one thing I will mention, though, Martian, you mentioned that you have confidence he's going to step up in the big games. The one detractor that, if people want to point at Linus Ullmark, that they have a leg to stand on, I would say, he's not been great in the playoffs. In 10 games played in the playoffs, a 3.59 goals against, at 887 save percentage, and a 3-6 record. So, hearing those stats, does that change things for you, or you still think you still have the utmost confidence?
I have the utmost confidence, and the big difference there is he never owned the net in any of those games. He was sharing the net. He never got a chance to get in a groove. He never knew he was the number 1 guy. There was always that, in the back of his mind, probably, is Swayman going to get the next game if I let the next shot in here? So I think it's a completely different scenario. He's on a completely different team. That's a whole different story. So, yeah, I think that would probably be my counter to that point.
Yeah, and I think when that point got brought up earlier, Sens fans were like, if he can get us to the playoffs, let's worry about his playoff stats when he can get us to the playoffs for the 7 years since we got there. So he's won a Vezina trophy. Yeah, like he's Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, but what a luxury it is just to be able to look at his playoff stats and be like, oh, but can he perform in the playoffs? Well, we're in the playoffs, so let's just enjoy that fact. We're not quite yet, but we're getting there.
We're getting there. It's looking good. Let's take a quick look at moneypuck.com here. You guys know I got it on my background. Still 99.5% chance that the Sens make the playoffs. So we're feeling good here, guys. I know there's issues. This team is not perfect, but it's their first year where they're actually in a proper playoff push and in a playoff spot with a couple games left to go down the stretch. So it's not all going to be perfect. It's not all a well-oiled machine. No captain tonight. Excuse me. So these things are going to happen. Martian, what are your final thoughts as we land this plane here?
Well, it was a stinky game. That's pretty much my final thought on that game. But I don't think it has to spoil what we've enjoyed so far down this whole stretch run. I think there's still lots of great home games left to go to if you're a Sens fan. I know I will be enjoying the next two. I'll be at the game on Thursday and on Saturday. So hopefully for my sake, the team can rate the ship here and I can enjoy those games, thoroughly with my belly full of beer. And I'm sure I will. So I think it'll be a great little stretch run down here. Man, 8 home games left. Wait, no, 7 now, right? 7 out of the 8.
7 out of 8. Yep.
7 out of 8 games at home. That's a huge advantage, I think, for them heading to the playoffs. So I like that, and I'm excited for the rest of it. I can't wait for the regular season to end just so I can know how this plays out.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, it's stressful watching it go down this way, but stress and pressure is a luxury. We've had 7 years where April comes along and we're like, just wrap this up and let's get to the NHL draft lottery. So we don't want to be in that position anymore, and we aren't in that position anymore. I still feel good. Am I annoyed, frustrated at this loss? Absolutely, but I'm still feeling good here, Sens fans, and don't let this rain on your parade just yet. The Ottawa Senators are going to figure this out. I am confident. So thank you to all 173 of you guys in the Postcast tonight. We appreciate you joining us, even though it's a 5-2 loss to the Buffalo Sabres again. Look, it's the Postcast. We vent or we vibe. It's a little therapy session for all of us, Martian and I included. So we thank you for joining us. This has been another edition of the Locked On Senators podcast, the Postcast. Ross and I will have another episode of the Locked On Senators podcast for you tomorrow, wherever you get your podcasts. It's the Locked On Senators podcast. It's your team every day.